Okay, so the last one has to do with today, the world in which we all live in, and with looking at the various red flags, the closing of all the federal positions, the right now they're looking to extend the national debt, which is already ridiculous, and if that does not occur and it reaches an impasse, these are all the things that are going to make the world in which we have lived in the past something that no longer exists. And the best way that we'll be able to see that, the clearest way, is by watching the unraveling of our culture, our way of life. That once great nation that said, of the people, by the people, for the people, we the people will be no more. And should that occur, we're going to see distresses in the various places that have everything to do with the health and well-being of the population of our great country. And that is economic distress, social distress. I shared cultural distress in ways that we are no longer what we thought we were. And then technological distress. We have AI coming online. Then there's ecological, or the planet is in distress. We have political distress where nobody wants to talk to anyone else. The problem with that is that we as a nation are going to find ourselves in a place where the last thing that we're going to care about is the future of our young people. Anytime you have anger, there's fear. And that fear creates us pulling in all of our thoughts of anybody else but ourselves. So that when it comes to our young people, they're going to receive or be given a country that they don't recognize. And what's furthermore, a planet that is in serious distress, each of which is causing for them anxieties, depressions, and suicidal ideations in such a way that it is just unacceptable. So, what is it that we can do? We, as a people, are going to be finding it incredibly difficult to give something to one another. We have drawn lines and stepped on each side, and we have dug in. We are not going to compromise. We're not going to give in, and to hell with it all. The problem with that is, in a way that we, when we were young, and our young people today, they don't learn by what we tell them. They learn by watching us. And the reason that they are dealing with such anxieties, depressions, and thoughts of suicide is they're watching the adult population who's supposed to be teaching them how to get through these experiences, and we are not going to compromise. So digging in is showing our youth that there isn't an answer, and they are caught between a rock and a hard place. And that is what I wish to share with you, to make you think and wonder, if it were a way for all of us to get on the same page. The only way I see it as a social worker for the past 40 some odd years is we are not going to get our way, because our way left our youth a $21 trillion debt and a planet that's falling apart. What we can do is come together to do what is best for them, for our youth. If you're willing to do that, we can set aside our differences and see that all of us have kids. All of us are going to leave our children and grandchildren with what? Do you want me to make it up and make it sound pretty so that you can feel good about yourself? Right now, take a look out. Look at the country's unraveling. And when the country unravels, we need to concern ourselves with the rest of the world because the world looks to us for balance. And what it's seeing is unbalancing, which in the end is going to create a circumstance where none of us are going to want to be where we're all going to go. So before we end up there, my suggestion, my thought, my humble opinion. No, I'm not going to go with an opinion, just a suggestion. We, the people, need to come together to find out what it is that our children need right now to bring about balance so that when they look to their future, they see hopefulness, not helplessness. That is something that you and I can do. We can sacrifice for our youth and give them a hell of a lot less of a bill and a planet that is moving in a direction that will give them hope for their future. If we don't do this, you know what? I'm always going to be found in one place, and that is as an advocate asking our youth, how can I help you? That's all. I'm at that golden years, my retirement years. I'm beginning that process so that I can now give back completely without thought of receiving anything other than the gratification of bringing a smile to the faces of our youth. So join me or not. The world is not going to change unless we change it. So where do you want to start?